someone can come down to Nigeria without knowing Hausa language, but between 1 or 2 years, he can be expert in Hausa languages. Even right now, we all know that is it University of Hong Kong? I can't remember the university in China. They have a sector called Hausa Language University, like Hausa Language Department and faculties. They even have a radio station. They even have a tech community for Hausa networking. So this show us that we have a lot of things that we can offer using our languages. Not just Hausa, we can use Yoruba, we can use Igbo, we can use Kanuri. And number two factor that just want to talk about is that the technological aspect of it. Recently, a young boy from a University of Lagos established a machine language that can digitalize and transform your languages, which means if you are using a Hausa language, you need to translate into Yoruba language. It's just like an AI machine. It created a kind of LMI to explain what that key aspect is working. Is am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. So this young person is a 400 level of mechanical engineering. Is it mechanical engineering? Sorry, computer engineering. Sorry. Yeah. So this is a brilliant boy and guy that actually produced this software, and it is the AI fastest language that can be used right now to translate a lot of language. Before we normally go to Google, to use Google Translator, but this time around, he has brought all what we need down locally here in Nigeria that we can use this platform, technologically to translate a lot of things. So which means we have a technological development that we have it here in Nigeria that we can actually use it to, transform a lot of things here in Nigeria because the means of communication, the best thing for communication is to communicate with people with their local language and they should understand, which would be the key aspect of, transformation, transforming information and also changing lives, leveraging on opportunities. Okay, without taking much of time, let me quickly go for how local content creators, developers, and businesses can help. Okay, let me all say that we have a lot of potential. We have a lot of things that we can play in hand. We cannot just sit and just wait for someone to come and make this thing locally or to adopt it locally. Okay, instead of we using a language like an English language every time when we are developing a kind of a software or a website or a business, why can't us localize it into our content? Because we are doing it purposely for our people to understand what it means. You cannot come and create a website or something that the name is not user friendly and you expect people to be friendly with the website. So this is one of the key things that is up to now is kill as most of our businesses, our startups. You may find if someone is a developer or a software analyst or a founder having a great idea, but because of the name is not familiar, like it's not user friendly, some of people will be asking of why this business. I don't like the name, I don't like the echo, everything. So because you haven't make some analysis, because you need to make some research about which name will be more engaging, which name will be more interested with your audience. Because any product that you are building must have a key audience that you are focusing. So in a nutshell, local content creators and developers and businesses can only help through using the local language we have, whether it's Kanuri, whether it's Igbo, whether it's Fulani, whether it's Hausa, any language that we know that we are using it in Africa, in Nigeria, can be used to transform a lot of opportunities. Meanwhile, we can create our website with our local languages. We can create a script with our local languages. We can create some applications, some software, some solutions. Like, let me just make some example here. Recently, Libya immigrated, let me say, have a kind of Hausa Ignite a summit. That summit is basically to, push out, like push It doesn't mean that I'm focusing only on Igbo people, but I'm focusing on the solution that can change people's life and everybody. Understand? But language barrier has been the key problem in Nigeria ecosystem that have been like adopting, or let me just say, changing our narratives, which helps a lot in providing a lot of problems. While we have a lot of solutions that because of that language barrier we haven't been able to put it in place. Okay, what are the tools that we can set anymore? Like, what are the tools that we can use to make this thing inclusive? Okay, these are the good things that we can be able to use, like providing a method. What I mean by method is that at least providing a method for people. If you are Hausa, if you are Igbo, if you are Yoruba, everybody should come down to the meetup, brainstorm, and then let's provide a solution. Let's bear in our mind that our next call to action will be like our content should be in English. Sorry, in Hausa. Sorry, will be in Yoruba, will be in Kanuri, will be in the language, our localized languages, and our web should be more of focusing on languages even if we have a pitching, because recently something happened, some of our key individual here from Kano goes to a pitching, but because they have a lot of ideas full of their head, but because of that English, they cannot say that idea perfectly. Why they have this idea in English? One of the Joes quickly noticed that they have this idea. Why can't them localize it, make it in Hausa so that everybody can understand what they mean? If somebody needs a translator, they have the pitch deck, then he can go through the pitch deck or explain to him through translator or Google Assistant. So after they go through these things, they explain to them in Hausa, they really found out that these people have a vital point and also a visionary, let me say, idea that can transform a lot of young mind individuals and can create hundreds of jobs, not in Kano State, not in Nigeria, but the whole world at work. So you can see how the power of localizing content into our local communities content, local communities languages have a lot of different, segments that can help our lives. Understand? And you can see how a lot of things that we can create, localize it. So in a nutshell, what I mean, I'll stop here. In a nutshell, we are the ones who will push these things out and then backing it up with the communities we have, our tech community, our companies, our stakeholders, and also our youth, who will be the primary target that whenever they go, they should promote this language, should be matter online actually. We know a lot of people can have one or two things to say about when they are trying to search for a name. If it is in English, it will be more quickly for you to find it out. But if it is in another language, sometimes some some of the websites or some of the online platforms will not give you access to register the name when it comes to domain or hosting. So I don't know, Rashida, I will stop here. Thank you so much. I don't know if there is any question, then we can quickly look into it.
Thank you very much for that amazing talk. I think the keynote for me was language shouldn't be a barrier to great ideas. If you have, especially like when you spoke about the hackathon, and like if they're allowed to express it in their own local languages, and we should learn to embrace our local languages more, and we should adopt the same way you would go to if you're using other. If you're searching for, if you're on a website and you could see translate to French or something like that, we should have those options in our applications and all. And um, adopt accessibility for everyone to come on board. So thank you very much for that. I'm just going to open the floor for if anyone has any question. Does anyone have any question that they would like to ask Mr. Nasser after that amazing talk? I
Yeah,
know.
I will do.
Okay, Hassan, you want to? You have a question?
Okay, so I think there is a question in the
Oh
chat.
yes. Okay, yeah, that's what I was about to read. All right, so there's a question for you here where it says, how do we go about breaking the language barrier? Because we have many people who do not understand English. I'm confident that the team leaders will pay close attention to ensure this is handled properly. So, Mr. Nasir, how do you recommend we go about breaking the language barrier?
Okay, thank you so much for that wonderful question. As I've already said earlier, we cannot stop building product because of language barriers. What I simply mean is that we have a solution, And this solution, it's like focusing on audience. I know each and every solutions have a target audience. Understand? So for we to bring out or for we to make provide the solutions for this is either people should actually provide a two ways whereby when we are explaining key things, we should focus on who our primary target is. Maybe we are in Igbo land. So after explaining the whole of the concepts for people and trying to explain it to them or develop it into their model, so we can as well develop an English version of it or Hausa version of it. You understand? To make it go quickly because the main factor here is that to make it user friendly. To make it user friendly. Yes, I know a lot of people cannot understand Hausa, cannot understand other languages because the official language is English. Yes, we all know that and we agree on that. But we want to push out the local content that we have in our various communities. So while developing those solutions, we have to focus on our targets first, and let's see we can provide a two-way solution, like a language again that can simplify the whole concept for our own startups or for our own solutions that we.
Hi, Mr. Nasser, you muted your mic in case you're speaking. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. In a nutshell, what I mean is that okay, whenever we are developing a solution, so we have to focus on our target audience. Those target audience maybe can be another language, and we can see the majority, and then we provide that solutions to the majority. And at the same time, we can provide another substitute. Let me just say another solution, which is like maybe an English version of it, or a Hausa version of it, or a Kanuri version of it. But the main focus here is that we have to educate our communities that we are pushing this thing not just because of languages, not just for specific tribes, but for the whole community to understand, and we should push the local content into the global stage. I hope I answered this correctly. Thank you.
Yes, you did. Thank you very much. Is anyone here? Does anyone want to have another question? Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Nasser, for your time. That was absolutely fantastic. And thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hello.
Okay,
Sorry, before he go, I would like to ask a question.
sure, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think you've been mentioning some of the platforms and the tools they are you are currently exploring to support this multilingual system. I don't know if you can highlight or talk more about the platforms and the tools you are exploring to support this multilingual system.
Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. So we have a lot of AI, let me just say, platform right now that are trying to push out a lot of multilingual, sectors like this. So if you don't mind, maybe you can drop me your email and I can send you some of them. I have listed them here. I have not with my laptop right now, so I can just quickly send it to you. So let me drop my email and then we'll go about it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for answering that. And I know a lot of
Okay,
active.
I have a question, please.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you. My name is Al Mustafa Joseph Alo. I'm actually been working as a translator, English Hausa, for the past 15 years. And recently, I had to do a little job for like 2 months contract on LLM, training LLM on how to understand Hausa. I noticed that one of the issues we faced was most of the translations they got for training the LLM were not really correct Hausa. We had a lot of errors, in terms of grammar and all that. Now, what are the things that we can actually put in place to ensure that these tech that we're trying to build into the local languages actually get the right translators to work on them? They actually fed with the right grammar of each language. It has not been nice for us to have like a website in Hausa and most of the grammar there are not really standard. So, what are the measures put in place to actually have this of stuff we're going around actually come with proper grammar, the right language as it should be, and not what somebody speaks on the street? That's just what I wanted to ask.
Okay, thank you so much for that question. So I recently I had Bayero University. They had a kind of engagement whereby they want to bring out all the language translators. They should calm down, let's agree from certain words, like words. Understand? So that will give them a chance to, confile the whole kind of, let's say Hausa, for example, Hausa language, so that they can have a unified, let me just say, a specific Hausa tongue that whenever we are building something, someone will go direct for that. You understand? And another key thing is that, okay, I recently saw Google AI, is it Google AI or Microsoft paid billions of dollars for them to source indigenous local African languages. So we can still do this thing as well, understand, by whereby we can open a kind of a template whereby we can have a kind of summit for language summit whereby what are the most keywords that are like they have synonymous, like they are very difficult to pronounce, they are very difficult to spell, they have a lot of things, like spellings and other stuff, so that we can come into a conclusion that whenever someone is using it for our social media platforms, for our website, so that there shouldn't be a mistake. And I'm very sure there is a development whereby when you are trying to adopt these languages, so OpenAI, I don't know if they still give the API whereby you can still use their database to have this information about Hausa languages. Because up to date, they are
They
still
do.
gathering
They
the
do. I actually work with them. They
Okay,
do.
thank you so much. Yeah. So up to today, they are still gathering these languages and they are keeping it into their own database to be adopting it. This is why they are element like they are machine languages. So they are trying to adopt a new version of what the languages, because Hausa is a very large community, like for example, and Igbo is a very large one. So all of them have a different kind of words. So sometimes they have a clash of words and everything. So this is why when they have the correct version of the language, so they quickly go and what make the corrections in their own database, so that whenever you search for it next time, it will give you the last mistaken ones. So we can still develop that one because this is something that we need to work on ourselves so that we can call for it and we can still leverage on NIDA and NCC to actually propose to them, should call all the writers, script writers, translators, and every language specialist. We should come and talk about this, and then we should have a unified languages, whether it's Hausa or Igbo or Kanuri. But this guy from from Lagos, I have been able to chat with him, and he told me that he has been using a lot of language models to help him have a standard language. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I don't know if you could help me with more information regarding the summit you talked about with the BUK, because I've actually been looking forward to something like that, where we could actually have like translators come together and have a standardized terms for Hausa especially. Because I remember sometime we are doing a review of a translation work, and then somebody translated news feed as Abinchin Lavare, and which sounded very funny because he saw feed as meaning Abinchi. So if we could have something, like a summit where we come together, and I would really appreciate that if we can get more info for me, sir.
Absolutely, absolutely. I will definitely do that. I have dropped my mail, which you can just DM me so and I can connect you with the professor and other
All right.
key stakeholders. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
His mail is in the chat box, so if you want to reach out, please just um copy that and send him an email, and you'll get whatever information you need across. So thank you very much once again, Mr. Nasser. And I want to know, I want to feel like everyone is starting to get the energy. Everyone is starting. I'm coming. Everyone is starting to know what we are here from. I'd love to see some confetti in
Yeah.
the. Everyone should hit some confetti if you're feeling what we're talking about and you're starting to understand what this whole event is about, right? And
Yeah.
I'll just pass the mic to Mr. Emmanuel. I think he has a question.
Okay,
All
absolutely.
right, Mr. Al Mustafa, I'm very happy for this question, and I'm glad to tell you that you are the right space. All right, you are the right space. Ofotech is currently or has currently done a project which is called Trikobo. We've translated over 10,000 Hausa words, tech words to English. and we're at the verge of finishing with the Hausa and then moving to Igbo and Yoruba. So I don't think you have any cause for alarm. You are at the right space. So at the end of this, we're going to align very well and then we'll discuss further. But I'm telling you, we have done a lot of work on the translation stuff. So you don't have any issue. Thank you. Let me just be brief on this.
Thank,
Thank you, sir.
thank you, thank you for the assurance. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for giving that brief. So with that, I'm going to call on our next speaker, who goes by the name Mr. Ibrahim Zubairu. Mr. Ibrahim is an entrepreneur, a product manager, an educator, a content creator, and a passionate advocate for diversity, inclusion, and elevating indigenous languages through technology and artificial intelligence. Mr. Ibrahim will be coming on board to talk about tech in Hausa, how content creation, community building, and software solutions are changing lives. So with that, please everyone, just drop. I love seeing those confettis, please. I don't know, it's a personal thing, maybe. So please, I would like to see you all hit the confetti button while as they come on board. Thank you. Yes, this is I love to see this. So please take it away, Mr. Ibrahim.
Yeah, hello guys. So I decided to show you my face, and I have a slide. I don't know if that is all right that I want to display. Oh, that's fine, right?
Sure, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. Can you guys confirm you can hear me clearly so that I'll be sure that I'm not speaking alone.
Yes, we can, or at least I can.
Okay. Okay, sure. That's fine. All right, that's cool. Can you confirm you can see my slides?
Yes, we can.
Oh, I wanted to show the slide I downloaded. So a few minutes, please. Let me quickly sort some things out from here. Okay.
While Mala Ibrahim, the Rumba, is sorting that out. Are you real or AI?
You can confirm that from here. So guys, here's my screen, and hopefully we'll go through the screen together. I can decide, or quickly, let me just take away my my face. You guys can see my screen. For these people, I am real. I have blood and flesh. Okay. So guys, so basically what I wanted to talk about is basically a story of what we've been doing so far with my brand, Malin Iramba, with the company Malin Iramba Limited. So my slide, you can now see what I wanted to tell us, a story I want to take us through is basically how content creation, community building, and software solutions are actually changing lives in the northern space, within the tech ecosystem in northern Nigeria. So assalamu alaikum everyone, barakam Safia, and good day to all of you. So our host, I was expecting you to say to answer the greeting, just to be sure people can hear me.
Sorry, I was about to do that.
We can hear you. Go on.
All right. So great. A bit about me. I think she has done a great job introducing me, and I'm truly excited to be here today. My name is Zubairu Ibrahim, and I'm a technical product manager based in Lagos, where I also went to school and started my tech journey. I'll be very brief, right? I just wanted to share a few stories, and I'm done. So I've been building with tech since my teenage years, but my story didn't begin in Lagos. Yeah. I'm from northern Nigeria, and like many of us here, I go back home quite often, right? I go back quite often. Each time I go home, I actually feel two things. Um, those two things, let's just begin, is actually pride in our people, right? The strength, the culture, and the intelligence, right? It doesn't have to be from northern space, right? In north, we have people from the Hausa region. We have we have the Yoruba ethnic and the several languages, the ethnics that we have in northern Nigeria. We all are all northern folks. Yeah, we come from northern Nigeria for quite a long time, right? But I would quite agree. You can see Mr. Emmanuel and few other like Mr. Al Mustafa. So Hausa has become the language, the speaking language within the northern people, right? Is more open and is well spoken. So if I talk about Hausa, I'm not really categorizing or just saying few things, focusing on the northern people or the so to say the Fulanis and the Hausa. I'm actually talking about the Nigeria, right? Focusing on the language itself. So when I go back home, two things I actually see, and they matters to me. The one thing is pride in our people. You know, you see the strength that we have, you see the culture, and you see the intelligence. You can argue that, right? But the other thing that actually is concern, because the tech conversation I hear in Lagos or in cities like Accra. I've been to Accra several times when I visit, and Nairobi or Johannesburg, Silicon Valley, and the likes that we read a lot about as techies, you know, are not the same ones we are having in Kano, you know, in Kaduna, in Sokoto, in Benue, and the likes. And that's actually a concern for me, right? Someone who has been who's cool in Northern in Lagos, who has seen how this thing has touched life, you know, has equipped quite a lot of people, has promoted them, has made them wealthy and the likes, right? So that is a bit of concern. So today, I want to take you on a journey, how we are using tech in Hausa to close that gap. As the theme of today's discussion is, I want to try to tell you a story about what we're doing in Mali and Rumba to explore what universal digital adoption means, why it matters for us in the North, and how content creation, community building, and software solutions are already changing lives. So, if I may ask, what is digital adoption and why should we care? Let's start with this question. What does digital adoption even mean? I don't know if few people could just give me a few words in the comment section, right? And let me just see what you guys are thinking about it. I know the team is basically about this, right? So you people have a better understanding than I do. I just picked it up yesterday and I am here. So basically just tell me a few things you know about it. I would love to read. I love having an interactive session just to be sure I'm not just boboing you people. I'm just speaking and all that. I just want to be sure. I want to pick up knowledge from people who are actually listening to me. Thank you, Rashidat. Okay, quite all right. There, I think we can move on. So, now, ask yourself, if you're from northern Nigeria, how many people around you are actually comfortable with tech? Please do ask yourself. If you're truly from northern Nigeria, or you've been someone who reside there for a long time, or you've spent a year or a few months there, can you say that people around you in that space are actually comfortable with tech? Right? Can you say that? So let's go back. I think, so I would define digital adoption. I think it means that ordinary people, not just engineers or programmers, should be able to do what? To understand digital tools, to use them confidently in everyday life, and even create with them. I think basically that is digital adoption. That's a digital adoption. Can we really say that not just programmers that we have, the few ones, can we just say the few engineers we have, don't let us talk about them. Can we say our people actually understand digital tools? Can we bragly or proudly say that openly? Can we say our people, you know, the numbers are, they use this technology confidently in their everyday life? No, I think it's no. Can we really say they create with them? People who don't understand this thing, how on earth would they be able to create? I think that is the question. So if you ask yourself, if you're from that northern Nigeria, these questions, You might probably have an answer for this. You might probably say, yeah, there are people who are using it just for TikTok or Instagram, but no people, not much. You know, the number is very, very, very low who are using it for business, who are learning, who are freelancing, or even creating solutions. The number is outrageously small. If you ask me, I will tell you 0.0.01. And that is a sad story for me, right? Especially someone who has seen all this ecosystem, who has seen this thing going on great, doing well for the state, for the people, you know, for the locality, for their language, for their person. You know, that's it just it raises a lot of emotions, and that is concern for me. So this is where the digital divide is, and it's not about intelligence. Trust me. Don't just say, northern people are not intelligent. The outside, the likes. No, 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 no. It's not about intelligence. It's about access and language. Believe me. If they have access, if they do have, if that language barrier is broken, like we're talking about it today, right? If those solutions are in, then trust me, they will be doing well, just as their neighbors, their competitors, their friends, and what have you, are doing. They will be able to do well. So that brings us to one thing, right? Language barrier. That was actually my wake up call that there's a problem. And that problem is actually language is a barrier. Language is actually a barrier. So, what did I do? Right? What did I do as someone who, like I told you, I I think, like I said earlier, right? I am someone who just pick up technology as an early age, right? Where I went to school, I went to University of Lagos, I read computer science. Right from that set, right, I understood technology. I've seen it happen, right? You know, I've been building during my teenage years. I've been building things with tech, right? And because my story didn't begin in Lagos, I need to think about home. I need to think about my friends. I need to see what is actually going on within my my space, where I come from. So what did I do? So I decided I co-founded a virtual tech community called the Nut Hub with a few colleagues, few friends who have that touch, who feel what I'm feeling, right? So we began by actively cultivating engagement through written content, live interactive sessions, and educational training. After years in tech, I began to notice that even educated people, like after a deep research, connection, networking with these people from back home, I began to notice that even educated people back home struggle to engage with tech beyond the basics. Why? Right? You will ask why. They feel left out. Tech feels foreign. The language is complex. Tutorials are in accents that we don't relate to, right? The average person in northern space that I have connected with during my years of doing these things, right? They feel tech. You'll be hearing them saying tech bafana mobani, right? Bafana mobani, like all these things you'll be hearing them. Tech is not for us. So I took a year off to do some research, and Atama is here. Those years during our MBA was actually the year I was going through. I was doing some research. I was visiting people who are stakeholders, connecting with them, understanding what they are doing, right? Trying to tell a story. I was keeping a journal then. I was just observing, learning, and seeing what I could do differently that particular day time, right? So that year it hit me that truly and truly, right, language is the biggest barrier that we have in northern space. We don't need to translate tech. I will say that over and over again. With the few months that I've been doing content creation, creating content to simplify tech, I will tell you, we do not need to translate tech. It's not translation verbally. All we need to do is actually to transform it. The focus should be transforming it, not translation. We need to transform it into something that sounds like us, looks like us, and grow with us. You know, if it grows with us. So that is exactly what I have been doing with Malen Iramba brand. Because I've come across people who will say, Malen Ibrahim, because of your videos, yanzu nake fahimtar abin na dama. Like, is now I'm understanding what tech is. You know, is now I'm comprehending all these things. All these jargons were difficult for me then, but now I could understand it. I could make sense of it. Yaza ina fara dan Allah. People will ask me, what you're doing, I want to do the same. Yaza in para, yaza e kaza, yaza e kaza. Those questions comes every now and then. It's too much for me to even handle, right? You'll be hearing people say, ina san yin irin wannan. Wallahi ina san kirkira, ina san fasaha. When you link kake da shi na programming and what have you, those questions comes. So under Malen Iramba, I have been focused on producing relatable content that actually demystify complex technical terms, making them simple and easy to understand in few minutes. That is what I've been doing, right? So moving on, I think we need to make tech, right? Make it make sense. That is what I mean by simplifying it. That is actually when Tech in Hausa was born for me, right? So the pillars for me is I started with something small. I made a video in Hausa explaining what is database, what is coding, explained in Hausa, how the internet works, in a way that my aunts and cousins in Kano could understand. No heavy grammar, no pressure, just real clear talk. And it worked. The video spread. Comments started coming in. People were saying, and what have you. Like, just like you heard my friend here. People were calling me AI because it was resonating with them. It was flowing between household, friends, and the likes. From there, I got the urge, I got the push, and I began creating more videos on how to explain, explain careers in tech, explain tech-enabled industries and what we could do differently in Northern Space, introducing digital learning, how to use ChatGPT, all in Hausa. You understand? So Tech in Hausa was no longer an idea for me. It's already a movement, right? It's already a movement. And how do I do it, right? We do it, I will mention 3 pillars. One of the pillars is content creation. Just using this content creation, telling our own tech stories. Like several of my friends, especially people in the space, they kept telling me, wow, you're doing a lot. And I'll say, I've not started doing anything because I have a vision for, a podcast that would be great, heavy, and awesome, like real and, massive. I've not gotten to a stage where I could pull that. There's a lot to do. The foundation has to be built so that you could do it awesomely, great, and better. And I'm not yet there, and I'm still learning. So I want to go there. And people are telling me you're doing a lot, and I'm like, no, there's a lot we can do. We've not even started. So let's talk about that content. Today, digital content is one of the most powerful tools in the world. But for a long time, Hausa speakers were just consuming content. We are not creating it. So my ongoing mission is to bring more people from our community into the tech space. The purpose is to spread our culture and values, preserve our knowledge, and create a rich data set that will allow AI to master our language in both written and spoken forms. Just now, Al Mustafa was saying, and Nasir was saying, this technology do not understand the real Hausa. You understand? If you hear them speaking, you know it's not a Hausa. He's not speaking like a Hausa. I will tell you, there's a media Hausa language currently, and that media Hausa language is Kano Hausa, and Kano Hausa has been used for media, and I think it is the focus. It is what each and every one of us building any solution should pick as the structure, as the real tone to use when you're speaking to a large audience or when you're building solution. It is the perfect language. It is, what's that word? There's actually a word that qualifies what I'm trying to say. Like, it is the tone, like the tongue that is universal. It is adopted everywhere within the digital space. So that tells you there's a lot to do. And I think Tech in Hausa will change that. I have a vision for Tech in Hausa, and hopefully everyone here would push an impact for us to do something that would make the Northern Speak, the ecosystem, something greater that will compete with Lagos and the likes. So now with Tech in Hausa, people from Zamfara to Zaria are actually making tutorials in Hausa, sharing how to edit videos, build website, and even write code. They are creating educational, faith-based, and even entertainment content in our own tongue. This isn't, for us, it's not just about views. You know, it is about building confidence in our people and giving them the tools to learn, earn, and express themselves. Going to the pillar 2, we've been doing content creation, and that was making sense. But we felt, okay, we could do more, right? We could do more. What's next? So that comes the second pillar, community building. From isolation to innovation. We were doing it in solo, and we felt we could do it collaborating, connecting, growing community and the likes. For the final part, right? So that was, this is about, for us, is actually, so the third thing we were doing, that will be the final part of my speech, hopefully. So we felt after building a community, we could do something, right? In Lagos, people are connected, you know. There are a lot of meetups happening, hackathons, learning hubs, but in the north, that sense of connection was actually missing, especially for the tech, right? So we began creating communities, WhatsApp groups, Telegram spaces, Instagram channels. We try as much possible. We host free trainings. We invited mentors. We share resources. And we actually celebrated small wins that is actually happening within the community. And gradually, people who once felt alone started learning. I would say that because I've seen the effort. I've seen the impact going on. We began building and even collaborating. So for me, it's actually from Majalisa Ongwa, you know, that local space where you see people just gisting and what have you. It has now become, that same idea has now become like digital Majalisa. The idea is still the same, but it actually is creating connection and growth. So the third thing we added to our efforts was the third pillar, that is software solutions. We need to also think about building what we need. You know, it's not about content creation. It's not just the community. We also have to make that impact resonate and impact life here and there, you know, on the SAF community and the likes. Then we need to build solutions that actually matters. So now let's talk about softwares. I know content actually is biased, and I also believe community supports. But trust me, software solves problems. So we moved from just talking about tech to actually building tech. As I'm talking to you, we build an AI tool to generate captions in real Kano Hausa because it resonates and it makes a lot of sense to people. We're also launching Adad, basically a non-profit platform to help understaffed students to learn maths better. So we developed this with WhatsApp chatbots to teach mathematics in Hausa. We also help clients, businesses to create tools, web platforms, all in Hausa. And I was happy to hear Nasur, right, talking about domain in our language and what have you. We've collaborated with people who are building AI solutions, you know, tech engineers, and we're working on Hausa LLM. We are contributing to Hausa language datasets for AI and voice models. So we're not waiting for anybody. or the Silicon Valley to build for us. The dream Arewa, we just have to build for ourselves in our language with our values, right? So doing that, there was actually a lot going on, a lot of good stories, a lot of something that actually keep me grinded, keep me motivated, and things that I'm happy and I talk about a lot. Real impact, the real stories, the real change that we've observed, we've seen, we've heard, right? For example, there's a girl from Duse who's now a junior product designer in a startup that started from within the community that we built. There's a boy in Brendan KB who just got a remote contract via Upwork. He learned all this thing by networking and connecting with us. We have an Islamic studies teacher who is now using Canva to make better teachings, better materials for his student, right? We have a mother using WhatsApp bots to teach her kids, with our MVP tool, testing it for us, right? We have young creators who are monetizing their TikToks, Facebook, Reels, and training videos today. That's quite a lot for us, right? But this is what inclusion looks like for us at Malen Iramba, with tools, confidence, and direction. So some of us will be saying, why does this matters for the region, for the culture, and the economy, right? It actually matters. I would love to tell you that over 100 million, I think the number is not accurate, right? People speak Hausa. Imagine Emmanuel Oshekwe speaking a fluent Hausa. That's lovely. That's quite interesting, right? We have million people like that, right? It goes a long way, right? Yeah, the North is rich in human capital. This makes it matters, right? We have a lot of people who, if they pick up the tech skills, they become domain experts, a lot would happen. A lot would happen within the region, right? So, yet we are underrepresented in the digital economy. This is the part that pain me the most. It actually something that keeps me going. And this digital gap, it actually widens poverty and inequality. So if we are talking about the talauci yayi yawa arewa, mutanen arewa ba wayayyu bane ba su da ilimi, the problem is because we don't have this. The ecosystem is not making sense. People are not knowing why tech matters. Those are the reasons. And these are why you and I, we need to do something, right? Culture becomes a strength. It actually is not a limitation. We need to have youth who become builders, not just job seekers. We need to find a way to grow entrepreneurship. How? By localizing tech, right? So when tech speaks, what you can do for the listeners listening to me, right? If you're a student, please start learning something today in Hausa or English. Just start something, right? If you're a teacher, encourage digital literacy in your students. If you're a community leader, support safe spaces for tech learning. If you're a government or NGO, support language-based inclusion fund training programs, sponsor tools in Hausa and the likes. If you're already in tech, please mentor someone, especially someone who doesn't feel qualified yet. Tech in Hausa is in content. It's not just a community. It's not just software. For me, it is a vision that tech can feel like home, that tech doesn't have to erase our identity. It can amplify it, that our people, our culture, our voice have a place in the future. And I believe with my heart that the future of digital Africa must also speak Hausa. Thank you very much.
Ooh, thank you very much for that session. Look, you can see the applause. You can see how everyone is excited. And there's a lot of things that I had to note down. And that language isn't the barrier. It's like access, giving people a familiar face that makes them understand us better, and that is really amazing. And I love to see people that are creating content for the local communities. And I see you, and then I know there is Zainab in Kaduna also that does creative enthusiasts that does something like that, and it's amazing to see people like that. So I know there'll be a lot of questions, so let me give the floor like 2 minutes. If you have a question, please
Actually, I
let's
have
drop
past
down.
12 o'clock, so let's just quickly round it up. Thank you.
Yes. All right. So if you have a question, drop it. Now's your chance.
Can I say mine verbally, please?
Oh yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Okay, Ibrahim, I really appreciate your work, your effort. It's really wowing. Um, there's something you said about creating an Hausa LLM, and that really wowed me because while working for OpenAI last year on ChatGPT and then training them on Hausa, it hit me that okay, we could do something like this for Hausa. Hausa having so I think I really like that. There are other people who are thinking that
In
way. I don't know
fact,
if it's
in
possible
fact,
for
we
me to
in fact we are the
collaborate with you.
perfect people to actually do it. We are the perfect people to do it. In fact, if we don't do
Okay,
it, nobody can do it better.
I like that. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if it's possible for. I would really want to partner with you on that if it's okay by you.
Already
Yes,
checking you on
I
LinkedIn.
really look forward to it.
When you spoke earlier, I checked you on LinkedIn.
Okay,
You're a
okay.
person I need to talk to.
Okay, okay.
All right.
Thank
So,
you so much for that. Yeah. So
all
it's
right.
really a good one. That's just what I wanted to say. Thank you so much. I look forward to working with you. Really.
All right. Thank you very much, Mustafa.
Oh God, I absolutely love this. This is what communities is about: networking, linking people that need to meet each other, and that just happened right here. Absolutely love that. Amina Al Hassan has a question that she said, "How do we transform tech and not translate it?"
Yeah. So, I don't know. Nasir mentioned something. There's one of the speech of the Professor Abdullahi Adamu. From what he mentioned, right? For me, I don't think sitting. I'm sorry to say, like I've seen Mr. Emmanuel mentioned the Kobo work you guys are doing, and I've seen quite a lot of people who are already translating, words. But like they said, Hausa is majorly everything you see, or some of the language that we currently, some of the terms, the words that we have borrowed words and language, so is adaptive, right? So focusing on saying that we just have to coin something that has to be relatable will confuse people. It would the target will be missed, right? So the focus is don't just focus on the words, focus on the concept, the knowledge, the idea, right? Focus on making sure that you're doing these things, you understand it, not necessarily because you could speak fluent Hausa, but because you comprehend Hausa and it makes a lot of sense for you, right? If we all focus on doing that, instead of just sitting down and saying there's a word called data, so we need to find a replacement for data that resonates and makes sense, you will confuse a lot of people because now you're bringing something that everyone has forgotten. It, decades ago, nobody's resonating with those words anymore. Like a few modern words are touching people's life. They are more comfortable understanding that than all those. That's basically there's a lot. I've written an article on this, and I think that's just the focus because we've seen it happen, right? There were times when I want to focus, I do some research, I want to see what Kano people, workers, inner people, how do they translate these words before I could do a video, and that took a lot of times, right? And it's delayed me from doing what I need to do in time. And then I understood that look, it's not about translating the words. It's basically about you know sharing or making sure that information reach where it should.
Misunderstood. Okay, thank you so much for breaking that down. Um, it's okay. There is no more questions. I'm sure it'll
So
be
can I just say something about the question
okay.
someone I think asked? Talking about how to not translate these terms. While working, there's this thing that we did for Microsoft some years ago. We call it transcreation. Now, the
Yeah.
idea is, yeah, we don't just translate what is given word for word, but you try to put it in the culture of the people and then try to bring it in a way that they would understand it culturally, not just taking the word for word translation. So that's one of the things that we've been actually doing. I think one of the issues we faced with them was words like cloud. How do you translate cloud into Hausa in such a way that the people understand that you're not talking about the cloud that brings the rain,
I
but you're
used
talking
to call
about
it Gaji. I used to call it Gajimare. Then I
now the
saw
problem with
the speech
Gajimare is,
of Dr.
yeah,
Adams, and it
Gajimare,
was like the right
yes.
word is Giza Giza. He went on to
And
say
that
a
was an
lot.
issue. I remember someone actually translated this sometime as Tarung Abubwa, Taruma Ajiyar Deyar. I said, that is a very long stuff. When you begin to look at Taruma Ajiyar Deyar,
You
it makes it look
confuse
like a very complex
people.
thing. So one of the things that we did was trying to keep them transliterated. Like we have cloud. Why not we leave it as Kiloud? And then we can now give the meaning in Hausa. At least we did it with some other words in English, like burodi from bread,
Yeah.
like tickety from tickets. So we can actually do the same with some of these tech words if we cannot find a word that can actually give them the right meaning. So I think that's one of the things that we have been able to do over the years, and then it worked. So I think that's one of the way we can bring tech into Hausa in such a way that people can still relate with it without being confused.
Yeah.
So that's just what I wanted to chip in.
I agree with you. I
Thanks
agree
for
with you. And I love that.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks for adding that. Also, if you're living under the rock and you haven't followed Malam Yorumba on social media, please do that. Can you please drop your social media handles? That way we follow and we keep up with what you did.
All right. I think
Oh, you're
anytime.
muted.
Oh, okay. I think
Okay.
anytime you just do a search on Malay Ramba, the brand is actually unique and it's
Oh,
trademark. My name will pop
oh.
up on any social media, inshallah.
All right. So please, if you have any other questions because of time, just hit him up on social media and drop the question. Thank you very much. And thank you so much for being here with us today. It has been a very lovely session.
I see my friend raising
Um,
his hands. Engineer Bakaka-san.
okay, let's give it 30 seconds. 30 seconds, Engineer Bakaka. 30 seconds.
Oh, 30 seconds. Okay, let me see if I can try to. Yeah, I'll have probably in that 30 seconds. Well, regarding the Hausa, I think data set, we are currently working on a Hausa data set, which is an open source project. I think Ibrahim already knows about that, and also Atamba. So whoever wants to contribute or want to join the journey, I think he's welcome because we already have the inbuilt system to collect the data and see how we can model some words that I think maybe is an issue to the larger Hausa audience. Yeah. So you say 30 seconds. I don't want to start
Oh,
breaking it down,
thank,
so we
thank you.
can maybe discuss much more after the call. Whoever
Okay.
wants to contribute. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you so much for keeping that brief. I'm sure Mr. Al Mustafa and a lot of people here will be very interested in connecting with you. Just drop your LinkedIn handle or whichever form of communication you prefer. Drop it on the chat box, and we'll be in your DMs. So going up next, we'll be having a panel session, and we'll be having a panel session on digital access without limits, how universal acceptance can bridge Nigerians' online divide. Oh, I love that topic. And we have Amina Ibrahim, who is a mentor and a community facilitator that'll be coming up. And we have Ilaba Ibrahim, a startup founder that will also be a part of this panelist. And we have Alasan Atama here. I'll be there. I'll be in between. And also, please, for everyone here, if you want to contribute, also feel free to do so. Let me I don't know if you're comfortable turning on your camera for the panelists. Mrs. Amina Ibrahim, if you're comfortable turning on your camera, please do so, or just drop an emoji so that we'll know you're with us. And same thing for Mr. Ilaba Ibrahim.
Okay, so hi. Looks like Mr. Eli Ibrahim isn't here, but since we have Al Mustafa and he's
Exactly.
very vast on the topic, would you do us the pleasure, sir, to join us on the panel?
Like, yes. Thank you for stealing my idea before before I said it. Because like, oh, I wanted to be spontaneous, and I was like, you know what? Oh, we have a very enthusiastic audience, and we have someone that is really interested in this topic. We've seen how you've engaged with it, and we'd love to have you on this panel. Um, and that way you can talk more about the things you're doing and how it connects to the community in general. So please drop an emoji if you're open to being a part of this panel. Mr. Al Mustafa? I don't know. Can you hear me? Okay then. Maybe his network or he did not know he has unmuted this mic. So, but before then, I would just introduce Mrs. Amina Ibrahim. Yes, Mrs. Amina Ibrahim was going to be a part of this panel session. She is passionate about youth development and program implementation with a focus on technology, digital rights, and internet governance. She's an ICT trainer, a youth mentor who has mentored over 200 youths and small businesses, and have volunteered with various startups and schools. She's a mentor for Microsoft Interns for Africa, an expert in training and capacity building in many ICT projects in northern Nigeria. And it's an absolute privilege to have you here with us today. And oh, thank you for joining us back. Oh, I just finished reading your intro. So, Mrs. Amina Ibrahim, thank you so much for joining us. We are about to start the panel session.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you. Next we have Al Hassan Atama, who is also going to be here, and we all know Al Hassan. If you don't know Al Hassan, let me do what Mr. Ibrahim Baba said. It was like, go and Google me, just search Al Hassan Atama, and you are going to find out all you need to know. That's such a huge flex, though. And Mr. Al Mustafa, I don't know if you can hear us now, and would love to have you as a part of this panel session. Can you hear us?
Sorry, I didn't get that. Sorry.
Okay. So what I said was, we've seen how enthusiastic you are about this topic and would love to hear more about your work and what you do. So would love you to join this panel session.
Okay, right, no problem. No problem.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone, and let's get started. Once again, the topic for today is digital access without limits, how universal acceptance can bridge Nigerian online divide. Very good. We all know like there've been like a huge online wars and online drama. I really don't personally, I don't think they translate to how we interact with each other in physically, and they're just like projections that we all feel comfortable to talk about online and everything, and like how universal acceptance can now bridge that divide and get people to understand each other more. So starting with that, I would like to ask Mrs. Amina. So from your work, because you're someone that is she's a community facilitator, you've worked with youth, you've worked with people that are creating ICT programs and the likes. So from your work with communities, how do you see universal acceptance helping to include Nigerian populations, particularly through language and local reference, into Nigeria's digital transformation?
Okay, thank you very much, Rashida, for that question. I'm actually at the field right now as we speak. If you can hear the background.
Yes.
I'm training some women all the way in Yobe, Damatru.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so this question is actually coming at the right time. Well, honestly, when we talk about digital inclusion in places like northern Nigeria, language is the first wall people hit. I've worked with women and youths who are eager to learn, who are eager to explore opportunities online, but they are stuck because everything is in English or worse, written in ways that feel foreign to their daily reality. So universal acceptance changes that. It is about making the internet work for everyone. Whether your email ends in .hausa, your name uses non-English scripts, or you're searching in Kanuri, just imagine a world where a young girl in Katsina can register a domain name in her local language or find digital resources in Hausa and don't feel like they are just translated but actually made for her. That's the power of UA. It bridges not just access but also gives a sense of belonging. And culturally relevant digital spaces matter. In community training sessions, I've seen, like, for example, when I came for this training, the first thing I asked them was, is a training on business growth, growth plan. And the first thing I asked them is, who doesn't understand Hausa here? And they all smiled and their eyes just sparkled. They understand what I was saying. The slides are custom made. I came with a slide. It wasn't my slide, so it was in English, but I translated everything to them in Hausa, and the training went smoothly. So it's culturally relevant that we try as much as possible when to use our local language. Like I mentioned in community training sessions, their eyes just lit up when they hear an example in Hausa, or I just jump in with a local proverb during the training. So it's like a door opens. So if Nigeria is serious about digital transformation, or let me say the North, no, let me just generalize it, Nigeria, because even if you go to the South, they have the same complaint, the
Yeah.
Yorubas and the Igbos. It's just that Namu Mukaseni is our own that we know. So if Nigeria is really serious about digital transformation, we can't leave our languages and culture behind. UA is a chance to bring them along, front and center. So being I associate very much with the local community, and I have seen firsthand what the language barrier can do.
Yeah.
If I was teaching tech, there is no way I would use Hausa to teach it. So I find the class is always boring. They don't even know what I'm talking about. But if it's something I can talk and improvise, use Hausa language, you find out that the classes, if you see, I had two cohorts. The first cohort have left, but they are still coming around because they enjoyed the session.
Yeah.
We've been gisting, and matter the way we are, we are Sabo. So it's basically, if we can do this, if we can, to help a lot in terms of community awareness. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for that fantastic answer. And I love how you focus on how language ties everything together. Language makes it feel close to you, makes it personalized to you. The same way, if you speak to someone in the northern Hausa, okay, yes, it will look at you and is more attuned to care about what you're talking about than a foreign language that it doesn't understand. And that's definitely relating every other part of Nigeria also. And now my next question goes to Mr. Al Mustafa. And it's like, how can local startups, because you work in you've spoken about the LLMs languages that you're working on, and all that. So how can local startups and businesses in Nigeria play a role in promoting universal acceptance and encouraging localized digital services? Because this is something that your work is trying to promote. So what are the things that you would love startup founders or businesses to adopt that would promote universal acceptance and encourage localized digital services?
Okay, thank you so much. Once again, my name is Al Mustafa Joseph Alo. I actually started out as a science student, learning physics. But in my final year, I actually dropped out of school because I discovered that my passion is more in the languages than in the sciences. So, and over the past 20 years, I've actually taught French, Spanish, Hausa, and English. And then, like 4 years ago, I decided to go basically into AI, generative AI, and large language models. And one of the things that I have actually encountered in my work is if we can actually have content, like websites coming from Nigeria content, we can actually have them localized into languages. I mean, you go to China today, you have all the websites are in Chinese. Nobody cares whether you understand the Chinese or not. Yes, they may have like English translation of it. So one of the things one of the ways I think the business owners can actually help, it's not just have, yes, we know that English is our official language, but we also have these other languages as major languages. So can we get your website, your content translated, localized, and translated into Nigerian languages? Now, that way it is easier for us to actually have them put into the LLM. Like, for instance, one of the things the LLM does is to actually get trained. Like, one of the things that we do is to train LLM on how to build their memory. So if we have content already in these languages, it's easier for the LLM to actually pick them and remember them. For those who use Google Translate, if you notice, like 5, 6, 7 years ago, Google Translate translating Nigerian languages of the next. But today we actually have it better because over time it has learned to gather memories from all the searches people do. So that's one of the things I did for Google for like 2 years. We were training Google Translate on how to understand good Hausa sentence. So every day we feed it with questions, we feed it with sentences in Hausa, we carry content from BBC Hausa, we carry content from Voice of America Hausa, after we have corrected a few things and fed them. So now that way it helps to build itself to understand these languages. And I think that's one of the things businesses in Nigeria can do. Can we have your content in Hausa? Can we have your content localized so that by the time we're working towards tech and LLM, it remembers that, oh, I know this thing, I've seen this thing, I understand this structure, and on its own it can build more. So I think that is one of the ways that we can work. And frankly, that's one of the things that we are doing now with a company I'm actually trying to work with. We call it actually data annotation. So one of the things that it does is to pick out data in Hausa and feed AI to remember that, okay, whenever you see this text, this is how it is used, this is how this term evolves, this is how it inflects with other words. And so I think that's one of the ways that businesses in Nigeria can also help build the tech industry and LLM. Have your content localized. Don't keep everything in English. Even like some of the entertainment industries that we have, can we have these things in Hausa? I think it will go a long way to actually help us. I believe I have actually answered your question to that.
Oh, yes, you did. Thank you so much. Because at the end of the day, your LLM is as good as the data you feed it, right? So we need to push
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, so we need to push out content. And next, Mr. Al-Hassan, my question for you is, because you are a technical person and you as much as you are a community person, right? So what are the technical possibilities for building platforms or tools that support local languages and scripts? How can UA technically empower digital access in undeserved communities? And yeah, you're the perfect person to answer this because technically you're working the Tree Kobo project was your initiative to like improve this access to undeserved communities. So yeah, tell us more about that and what the technical possibilities are. Can you just drop your message? I just don't like to get in between the speaker's head. So I would like you to just drop your question on the chat, or after Mr. Al-Hassan's talk, you can come back and ask. Thank you. So please go on, Mr. Al-Hassan.
All right. Hello, everyone. So my name is Al-Hassan. Once more, I'll build on the existing protocol. And I'll also build on the existing conversations that we've been having. You just mentioned sometimes back that your LLM is as good as the data you feed into it, right? So basically, I think that's like the most difficult part. We have a lot of stuffs in place already. We have Bakaka on the call, and he mentioned a work he's already doing around, publicizing Hausa data on Web3. And my guy is actually making money from there because there's a startup currently called Public AI. And basically what they are trying to do is to have this democracy of data, basically users being involved in building this strong AI model in Web3. So your contributions is being rewarded as well. So that's another thing to explore. So this is feasible, and we've already have those platforms to make this happen. So also I would reference Malam Iromba message earlier from that steps he took earlier. So basically from content creation to community building, then to software. So actually that's how things work right now in the space, and that is one of those strategies that we can employ to see that things are done. So a common example of what we are trying to do is the Tree Kobo project, of course. Initially, what we did was to see, okay, what's like the common words, the common factor, what are people using every day, you know? So what are those challenges people face, especially content creators, because we had to work closely with these guys to see how we can, you know, how we can, you know, solve those challenges that they are having. So initially, we had to like abstract 10,000 of those tech words because we call them tech jargons that could really be difficult, especially, example is the cloud that was being deliberated on earlier, which Wale translated as Gajimare initially, and you know, of course, there's a better word for it. So involving this community, involving these people together, like bringing them together to really come up with this word that really suits them and really works for them is one of those ways, one of those strategies that we could really work around this. So that's exactly what we did with the Tree Kobo project. So abstracted those 10,000 tech words, you know, translated the words based on, you know, the agreement and approval, then published these words to make it like easily accessible for people like Al Mustafa that were training AI model. Already they have vocabularies of these words that they could easily reference to and, you know, build on what they are building. So I hope that answers your question, Rashida. Rashida, they are still muted.
Sorry, I thought I hit the button. Yes, it does. Thank you so much for your answer. So someone had a question earlier. I don't know if you can go now. And we have a lot of, I love when people are taking chances, open chances for networking. Mr. Bakaka is here. Al Mustafa, Nasser, I want to connect with you guys. Good. Love that. Check their LinkedIn, connect with them, or wherever they prefer. If there's somewhere you prefer to be connected with, please drop that in the chat box. So the person that had a question, if you have, you can ask it now. If not, we're just going to go on with the next round of questions, which is, now let's move back from I know we can't really leave Ariwa, but like let's focus nationally what the key challenges are to universal acceptance in Nigeria. Again, Mr. Al-Hassan, from a technical person standpoint, what technical barriers currently exist? Maybe be it like because again, it costs money to, like you said, it costs money to allow so should I say, to fund programs like this, to fund people like Mr. Mustafa, who is working, getting to working and getting these languages translated and all, definitely need to be compensated, right? So does that fall under the technical barriers, or what the limits that limits universal acceptance in Nigeria, and like what the practical steps that the tech ecosystem can take to solve them?
Thank you very much. That's a very good question. So before we even talk about universal acceptance, one question we should even ask ourselves is, how many people understand what a domain name is on this call, right? Then we can take it outside to the community. How many people understand what a domain name is? But if you say a website, yes, it could make sense. But what are those technicalities behind the website? You know, for instance, someone might reach out and say, I need a website. What do I need to do? And you now tell somebody that you need to purchase a domain name and you need a hosting. Then you now start breaking it down to say, okay, domain name is that name where you see www.this.com, you know. So that's like first steps, and these are some of those barriers, right? So I think it still boils down to people even understanding those technicalities, then before understanding that it's actually a possibility. And the way ICANN tried to structure it, ICANN is the body behind this movement. It's a body in the US that is regulating those domain names and numbers in the US. So what ICANN tried to do in order to carry a lot of people along is, if you don't understand the domain name, at least you own an email address, right? You have at gmail.com or at your company.com. So they try to break it down that this doesn't only involve domain names, but it also involves email addresses. So these are some of those questions that we may need to answer. Of course, it might not require a yes or no or a simple answer, but these are some of those things to really consider before moving on to the next step. But technologically, this is feasible, of course. This is doable, and I think for languages like Hausa, Yoruba, and Igbo, we have a very good structure for these languages. We have a very good semantics, and we call them construct as well in languages. I'm not a linguistic person, but at least to some extent, these are some of those things that we researched on when trying to work on the 3Kobo project. So for languages like Hausa, Yoruba, and Igbo, our local languages, and even Arabic, which is Ajami, I see Mala Inro as well has been like a very strong advocate for that too, initially before he even started the Hausa language journey, or he has been doing them concurrently. But with this proper structure, right, with like good alphabet, good representation on the keyboard, of course, there's a language set for all of these languages on the keyboard already that is well represented. So with all of this in place, it becomes easy and feasible. Now it's left for us to agree that this is something that we want to do and this is a movement. So speaking all of this, I feel a bit guilty because Mala Al-Mustafa earlier mentioned that we need content, right? We need some of those content so that it will be easier to now train LLMs and other applications that depend on this. So our website, All for Tech, the reason why I mentioned that we are guilty at the moment is still in English language. So I think this is a wake-up call for us. Before the next program will be hosting around UA, we should have our website in Hausa, Yoruba, and Igbo. Thank you.
We'll hold you to that. Okay. Thank you so much for breaking that down. My next question goes to Ajia Amina, which says, how can you're currently on the field, you're working with local communities. Now, how can these local communities also become advocates for universal acceptance? What role does grassroots action play in this movement?
Okay, thank you very much. Awareness is like Malam Ibrahim Zubairu said, 0.00. He went on with the zeros and I couldn't count the zeros. Is very low. And to be honest, if I hadn't been part of a certain digital literacy program, if I hadn't been friends with people like Al Hassan and the rest, even I myself wouldn't have had an idea what universal acceptance is. So you can just imagine me that is a tech advocate, digital inclusion advocate, and the rest. And I'm just knowing about universal access. Then talk less of the grassroots and the community, the grassroots community. But the good news is that mentors, educators, and even small organizations can shift this. We just need to start talking about it where people are already learning. One idea I've used in community trainings is teach in your language. I always make sure I teach in Hausa because most of my trainings are across the north. So I always make sure I teach in Hausa wherever possible. There are days where I encourage participants to build their social media bios also in their local languages, because sometimes you see a bio and you're confused. You don't know, because they want to belong, they want to look, they want to package, and you find out that they are just writing, I don't want to use the word rubbish, but so I encourage them to build a social media bio, search for digital tools, or even register an email using their preferred script or name format. It sparks curiosity, and from there, we introduce universal acceptance and explain why their identity should work online, just like everyone else's. We can also tap into existing structures schools, radio programs, religion centers. Imagine local radio in Hausa running a short series on why domain names like .ngozi or .aisha or even .arewa should be possible, and how that how that affects identity and access. It's not just about tech, it's about inclusion and dignity. Just like Malam Ibrahim also said, when he comes to the north and he sees these people, he sees pride, he sees the ordinary northern person is very proud. Yes, so it's not all about just using our language. It's about our heritage, our culture, and our identity. Thank you.
Thanks for that absolutely fantastic answer. Thank you so much. Uh, there was something I wanted to say, but I can't remember it anymore. There was one point that you said that I really loved. Uh, Mr. Al Mustafa, now let's talk about regulatory support, funding access, policy designs. What can the government do better? Because like at the end of the day, this is something that belongs to us. The government regulations and all our policies that could definitely fast track this processes should exist. And what way can they come in to make it easier for small businesses to adopt universal acceptance practices?
Okay, thank you very much. I think it should start first of all by our languages not just being seen as languages that you just teach as subjects in the school, but actually being language of instruction to a large extent. I don't know if you understand. So now, I think that's where it should start, because most of the time we have people who do. I remember then in secondary school I had to do Igbo because I felt okay. I was always speaking Hausa in the house. Let me try and do Igbo, and I actually got F9 in the mock, and then I didn't want to go back to do it again. So if we actually have this, because the man will come and speak English, and then I'm writing Igbo exam after hearing so many English, and it didn't really help me. So if we can actually have these instructions in local languages, have schools where the instruction is done in Hausa, or in Igbo, or in Yoruba, that actually goes a long way as a start. Then secondly, I think the government can also help businesses by giving them a platform to operate within the local languages. So we could have maybe like an agency that promotes local languages. I know we have Nigerian language, something I can't really remember again. So something like that, but I think they're not doing a good work at promoting local languages enough. So if we can have an agency that does that, that also makes content and materials available in local languages for businesses, it will actually go a long way to actually help to help businesses improve better in delivering contents in local languages. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And one thing that I would like to add is we have a lot of people coming in to help us promote it, but you hardly see, well, we'd be wrong, but you hardly see like our own government also wanting to promote gathering the data around our own local languages. I know AfriLabs and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation are doing something around building LLMs like that, and or like we also want to see our own country wanting to promote things in that direction also. Okay. Before the next round of question, Abdullah Ahmed, if you have a question, just go ahead. Hi, okay.
All right, thank you so much. Your question was regarding what role could the government play regarding UA.
Yes.
So I just have one or two contributions regarding what Al Mustafa said.
Oh, sure.
Most of the government, I say, like currently now, all of our government portals, from registration, from job applications, all these things are being developed without even regard for universal acceptance. So if the government could lead by example by making most portals for registration, schools, and that regards government should be with regards to UA acceptance, I think it is also a step forward.
Yes.
Also, and then portals for registrations with government should also support local domain registration and multilingual content. So if we can have this from the government side to also create an enabling environment for developers to also be able to trip in and greater idea in the future. I think that's what I just wanted to contribute.
Yeah, thank you very much for adding that, Abdullahi. Thank you so much. That is a very valid point. Having our own government show adoption for our own languages shows that, okay, yes, we are definitely going in the line with universal acceptance. So to close this panel session, I have a general question for each of our panelists here, where I would like to ask you, what are your projection? How do you see, to what extent do you see universal acceptance in, how will they be adopted in Nigeria? What's your forecast for the next 5 years? What are things that you believe, you project that would happen? Things that, okay, how good do you think our LLMs will be? What amazing stuff do you think people will be doing with AI, or and how good our languages would be? Would we start to see websites that, oh, you have an option to switch to Yoruba, English, or Hausa? Or what crazy ideas do you have around this? And I'll also like, I didn't know Mr. Ibrahim said he has a class, but I don't know if he can hear us. I'd also love to hear his points in regards to that. So let's start with Mr. Al Hassan.
That's a very good question. So when you are asking that question, it felt like a challenge. I was already thinking through like what we could do, take a bold step or stuff. But then immediately, as promised, we would start localizing our official website in the local languages. Then UA-wise, maybe we could purchase a domain that has, of course, maybe Wazobia or something, representing all of the local languages, and then making it look crazy, of course. We would brainstorm on that and possibly share with the community, but we are going to take a step around universal acceptance, and we'll keep preaching about it and talking about it for people to get involved. Then subsequently, during the next UA day, of course, we would try to have like a live config session, of course, how it could be done, and that session will be led in different languages. We'll bring in experts, and even if we don't have those experts, we're going to ensure that they are being trained on, how to really do this DNS configuration and stuff, high level. But then we are going to take this bold step, and during the next UA day, we would have that session where we kind of configure live domain names to accept, of course, a UA friendly fashion. So for both domain names and email addresses. So for the next 5 years, if organizations like us and Malam Romba, Al Mustafa, join hands together and work on something huge, I think with the crowd Malam Ibrahim has, of course, I know him personally, he has over 100,000 people already on Facebook. So with that, I think the impact is going to be much. I don't like making a lot of progressions, but then we have to put in the work, and I think it's promising, when all of us like come together. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Even though you did not give us a 5-year projection, we love also quick wins. We have 1-year projection. Everyone is here to keep him accountable, and we want to see our Wazobia domain. We want to see our websites in Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo as promised. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so maybe I would be a bit ambitious here, and sometimes the best way to like predict the future is to create it. So at All for Tech, we would look at how we can partner with the government and other agencies to see how we can drive about 1,000 domain names in local languages between now and the next 5 years.
Now that is what we're talking about. That is what I like to hear. Good. Now we're holding.
Sorry, is it me or is it Rashida?
I think it's her.
Okay. Go.
I think it's a general question. I think I can just go ahead, right?
Yes, please. Yes. Go for it.
Well, I'm going to be a bit positive because we are too negative for my liking in Nigeria. So I think my projection for the next 5 years for universal acceptance, I think we'll see a lot of potential progress, like in education. The Nigerian government has mandated higher education institutions to prioritize direct admission for students within disabilities, aiming to enroll over 500,000 students within 5 years. This initiative may lead to improved accessibility and inclusivity in education. Also in digital infrastructure, the government, the Nigerian Universal Communication Access Project aims to provide mobile communication access to over 21 million people across 4,800, about 4,800 unconnected communities. These projects can significantly enhance digital inclusion and connectivity. Then in also the area of AI, Nigeria has also improved the AI trust to drive digital transformation and position the country as a global leader in AI innovation. This initiative may lead to significant advancements in AI adoption and development. So this development indicates potential progress in universal acceptance across various sectors in Nigeria over the next 5 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Even though I really heard halfway through, but thank you so much. That sounds fantastic. I'm waiting for the future where that exists. Mr. Al Mustafa, I
Okay.
think you're next.
I'm actually very positive as well with respect to the development of tech, AI, and then the Nigerian language. And based on what we're working on right now, the next 5 years actually is going to be awesome. I actually am looking to that. Like with the concept of developing LLMs in Hausa and even other languages, I think the next 5 years we're going to have a lot of people in Nigeria working towards that. If you look at the north these days, most Facebook posts, WhatsApp, you find a lot of people using the Hausa language and a lot more these days. And that is going to contribute to a lot. If we have, like we've already discussed, more websites in Hausa, where the government actually stepping in, more people will feel this is more accepted and then they will want to go more into it. We also have other digital content like Instagram, stuff like that, being developed also in Hausa. I think with that, the next 5 years is actually going to be very, very awesome for Hausa or Nigerian languages generally and in the tech sphere. I thank you.
Thank you very much. So very quickly, I'll just like one person. I want one person part of the audience who would also like to make projection. Let's not be like, okay, it's just the panel session. So anyone that would like to make a projection before we go to the next speaker. Anyone? Please just raise your hands. All right. Window is closed. Whatever projection you have, post it on social media, tag All for Tech on Instagram, Twitter, and the likes. And I would really love to read your comments and see what
I have sent it. Hello. I've sent it
okay.
via the info messages. Maybe you should read it and then reply me.
Can you
Sorry.
send it again? I can't see it, sorry. Can you send it again?
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right. Okay, I'll have to top of that. What's the novelty of universal acceptance with regards to the health sector and how medical consultations are now transforming into AI based? How will all for tech incorporate all dialects, improving patients doctors relationship? This is a very beautiful question. Who wants to take that? Oh well, I will all for tech. So of course you have to take it, Mr. Ahas.
Thank you very much. So basically universal acceptance, right? Initially it used to be okay. So let me take us to the way domain name started. The internet, basically it could give some context to this question. So we used to have www.domainname.com, right? Then it translated to .org. Then started having .net. So, but nowadays, instead of .com, .org, .net, you now have more. You see .store, .io, .health. That's like creating adoption to several businesses or several I would say domains, not really domain as in domain, but domain as in, of course, your own way of doing things, or your own place. It could be a school, of course, where you have .edu.ng and stuff. So people started advocating, okay, how can we take this to, languages, to communities, since everything is in English language. So you now started having, like, of course, you have China having theirs now. Then you've started seeing some Arab speaking countries too, doing theirs too. So with this in mind, I think they've already started covering health sectors even before covering, languages. So looking at this, it makes it easier for healthcare applications, or of course those in public health, to be able to like adopt these domain names, in what they do, irrespective of the community or stuff. So regarding, like, with this in mind, it makes it also easy now to have, since you have domain name in local languages, it definitely means that you're going to have like content in these local languages too. So it means this is a good news for AI, of course. It means you have more content for these LLMs, or AI models that are going to be trained in these languages and on different dialects. But I don't know if this makes sense, trying to like match this up, because with more domain names, like with more language inclusivity, you have like more content in a particular dialect or local language. So irrespective of, be it health, be it business, be it economy, be it journalism, if you have content in that, it makes it easy to now start creating AI or AI-based applications that work in that particular local language. And interestingly, even Web3 now is not left behind too. Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yes.
Okay, I believe it does. So I know we've been on this call for almost 2 hours now, and we're about to have our last speaker for today, right? But before that, I know we've gotten a lot of awesome tidbits. We've heard a lot of things that Malam Irumba's talk has um inspired us also. So I wanted to like just for everyone, even if it's like, oh my god, this event has linked me up with this connection, because I know a lot of people were happy about some connections. I know my internet is breaking. I hope you can hear me clearly. I would also like us to just go on social media and
Okay, sorry. So I think Rashida is off. So why is she
wait,
trying?
I'm back. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm back.
Okay.
So my internet is happening. What I was trying to say quickly before I call on the next speaker is, I'm just going to quickly drop our social media handle on Instagram. Please check us out on every other social media page, and just I would love you to drop tidbits. One thing again that we people in the north, we do a lot of programs like this. We've looked at this room. A lot of people are here that are doing amazing stuff, but then no one knows about them, right? No one knows what we're doing, and that's why I love what Madam Miramba is doing, is amplifying the northern voices. We do these things. We have a lot of awesome programs, but we don't amplify our voice, and then no one really knows what we're doing. No one is there to encourage what we're doing, right? So I would like us, whatever it is you've learned today, if you can just take a screenshot of the call, if there's anything that you felt was interesting, if there was a connection you made, okay, yeah, oh, you got to meet this person that does this, and it's something very interesting to you, just say something about it. Also, people would know you care about this. It's a win-win. Like, okay, yeah, you're amplifying what the North is doing, you're amplifying what your own personal interests are, and people get to hear about it. So just tag us, put the hashtag UA Day, hashtag whichever other hashtag Symbiat will be dropping it for us on the chat. All our social media handles has also been dropped on the chat. And with that, I will be calling our final. So for the thank you all. Also, you guys have been absolutely fantastic. We started since 10 a.m. and we have a very good pool of people following us up to this time. That is absolutely amazing. I love that. And we're on the last stretch and we will be calling upon, yes, a huge round of applause for ourselves. Thank you. You guys are fantastic. Um our last speaker for today, you all have actually gotten a sneak peek of things he has to say when he chipped into Mr. Zan Mustafa's comments earlier. And we have Abdullahi Ahmed, who is going to be talking about enabling universal acceptance, enabling a truly global internet. Abdullahi Ahmed is a 500 level agricultural and bioresources engineering student at ABU Zaria. He's an ALX graduate, an AWS certified cloud practitioner, a former RAS intern at Spring Continental Harvest Limited, Abuja, with experiences as a JAM CBT technical staff. He's passionate about technology, agriculture, bioresources. This is a multi-potentialite, as you can see. He has a lot of interest, and I think it's really nice to see people. I remember my undergraduate days and like how much I check my head into 1 million things and all, and I love to see people that do that. So if you have any fan, if you don't have any fan left, I'm dead. I'm now your number one fan. Anyone else, don't rate them as you rate me. So we would have Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you so much for being here today, and please take the floor.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rashidat. Um, I'm most honored to be in your midst today. Just like every other speaker that have come and spoken, and from my intro, I'm far behind a student of knowledge. So just a little bit from what I am learning and what I have been exposed to through experience, I would like to speak about the topic. So I did it in slide. Unfortunately, I will not be sharing it on screen because I'm using my phone right now. Okay. So I appreciate all speakers that have spoken before now, especially the digital content creator. I am not sure if he's here with us at this moment, Malam Ibrahim. I really learned a lot from your presentation. So without bothering you so much with length of talks, I will still want to continue with the existing protocol. I will start with the introduction to my topic, why universal acceptance matters. The internet itself is huge and is growing. Just like we know, from the world population currently, at least over 7 billion people. Out of these over 7 billion people we have on the planet, over 5 billion use internet worldwide. So if we boil it down to our own continent, Africa, over 570 million internet users in Africa. We come back to our own local domain, which is Nigeria alone, with a population of over 255 million population. Nigeria has 154 million active internet users. From Malam Ibrahim last presentation, out of this 154 million active internet users, we have very, very minimal number that is using the internet with regards to innovation, business, and all of that. So, but when we want to talk about this universal acceptance itself, before I will come to definition and other important parameters, over 1,500 TLDs, that's our top level domain, now exists. Not just .com or .net. We have local domains like .ng, .com.ng, Africa on the rise, and etc. But the issue here is that many websites and apps reject this new domain or local image. So the whole goal regarding with universal acceptance is ensuring that all valid domains and emails work everywhere online, no matter the language, the script, or length. You see, when it comes to Nigeria, if you open your internet today, if you want to go and search for tutorials, most of the time you'll come across, we students have come across this, whether it is medicine, um, internet, science, mathematics, the first thing you will see is an Indian man. My son, you are welcome to this tutorial video. I will make you to understand. You see, the Indians have really made so much effort regarding universal acceptance. Most of these countries, developing countries, including China, Arabian countries, most of them have tried to make this thing accessible to their people in the best language which their people could access and make use of it. And to be proud of it all, Nigeria also is among those top people working towards everything you see about internet today. We have a lot of contribution, programmers, great scientists, great doctors that are making a lot of contribution worldwide. But these things have not brought down to our local level. I've come across some of my classmates in the hostel. You see somebody can chat from A to Z using only Hausa languages. Or you see some people chat with only Yoruba languages. Sorry, I had a call. Some people chat with only Yoruba languages so and even other people that chat with Igbo languages. So imagine coming across a site or using an app like OPay, your Union Bank app that are being designed by Nigerians. Then you now see it in the languages you understand. This is what universal acceptance we are talking about. Universal acceptance is about making sure the internet works for everyone. Our mothers at home who doesn't understand English or may even find themselves on the internet. Sorry, I'm having a disturbing call at the moment. I don't know if you could get me. Our mothers who doesn't understand English language will find it will find it easier to be able to register an email address with Nigerian languages without it saying that it is not accepted. So this what universal acceptance is all talking about. Now I want to go to why universal acceptance is important for Nigeria. First, local domains help business build trust. If you have local domains that end with .ng, .com, .africa, without UA, customers can register with valid emails. Business lose sales, and it also lead to bad user experience. So we'll also talk about advantages of universal acceptance. First, you have inclusion and diversity. It supports local language and script. So universal acceptance has the length as it used to be from initial stage, it has progressed to up to stage 4. From initial stage, we just have 2.uk.ng, but now we have long alphabet or words in our local language that can entertain our local languages. So our programmers or our developers are encouraged to be able to make use of this universal acceptance. So it also builds better user experience. Someone who is an Hausa and going through interface of an app, most tech industry, just like it is very common, they are still building in English. So imagine someone going through an app or going through a farm app or a climate app, and all these things are being brought down in its local language. We are not just talking about translation, we are talking about being built originally using this local language. These things were not feasible before, but now universal acceptance has made it easier for you to be able to build originally using your own local language. using your own local languages, so that user now, whenever they want to make use of this app or make use of a site, you'll be able to use it, understand it, and also enjoy and flow with it. It's also among compliance and standard. It meets global internet guidelines. That is the advantage of universal acceptance. So we have some challenges without UA. Some of the challenges is that users can't register with their real email. Real email in the sense that you want to talk about, maybe you have something about at chigaba.com or other Yoruba names or other local languages. Users can't register with their real email. Then business lose local branding opportunities, exclusion of non-English speakers, and also frustrated users who give up at a point. Then my last but not the least slide is about what can we do. Some of the things we can do are we should test apps and websites for UA readiness. There are some apps now, if you register with a local language, you see that it will be rejected or not accepted, or it will sound foreign. So apps now and websites should be built with universal acceptance. And then we should use libraries and tools that support UA. So talking about these libraries and tools that support user experience, we have ICANN. So ICANN now, most programmers or developers, they no need to start from scratch to achieve universal acceptance, as ICANN GitHub repository hosts a set of minimal viable product and best practices to help on this matter. I can paste an address later that someone, you can go into that address, you find resources that are available in multiple programming languages, Java, JavaScript, Kotlin, PHP, that whenever a developer is designing, you can be able to make use of those stuff that are locally acceptable for us. So, and you see, the tribes or the communities that will be at the forefront will be the Hausa, the Yorubas, and the Igbos. From there, we can start from there, and before you know, it can come down to other ethnic groups, Igala, Tiv, Idoma. But before we should just start with these three tribes. Then before we can make progress. I during the course of the panel discussion, you asked question, where can we see ourselves in the next 5 years with regards to universal acceptance? The government have to play the role. We, the local community, have to play the role to be able to go with universal acceptance. It's not something that is, I will actually say it is very, very feasible in the next 5 years. But with time, as people get more enlightened, so we'll have it in mind that I want to do something on the internet. How do I encourage our people to be able to have a better experience without having to do it in English? Some of these developing countries, unlike Nigeria, some countries don't even have English as their major language. It's not even their first language. It's not even their second language. So from time being, their children and in schools, every other places in the organization, they are being taught or they learn things in their own languages. It is not just like that for us in Nigeria. So we may be able to find some challenges, because there are some people who are developers who may be an Hausa developer, but he doesn't even have the whole Hausa speaking knowledge, or a Yoruba developer who doesn't even have a complete Yoruba speaking language, but maybe grow up in other states or not in the country, and he's just so used to English speaking. So these are some of the challenges we may face, but with time we'll be able to overcome this. So if we want a truly Nigerian internet, we must build for all Nigerians to embrace local domains. We'll make apps UA ready and support local businesses. So just like as I've stated earlier, I'm just a student of knowledge. I hope some of the ideas or some of my talk regarding universal acceptance was able to build something, but not confuse or reduce what you have before. So I would like to bring this to an end. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Abdullahi, thank you so much. Yes, you should add teacher of knowledge to your bio, definitely. And I love the way you end it. If you want to be, sorry, God, goldfish memory. Um, can you repeat that again? Where you said if you want, God, sorry. I really loved it, but then my memory is no memory. Please repeat? Please, can you help me repeat? There's this sound bites that you ended with.
Okay. I said, during the course of my presentation, I hope I was able to include or to improve what you have known regarding universal acceptance and not to confuse or reduce your knowledge regarding universal acceptance. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. So, thank you so much for being here today. If anyone has a question for Abdullahi Ahmed, please drop it. Also, you can drop your LinkedIn profile or your social media handles. That way we can follow. And you do a lot of stuff. So I would love to follow and see things that you are doing also. Thank you so much for being here today. And next, I would like to call on Emmanuel because, like, you guys have tried. You've been here learning, talking, listening to us talk for 2.5 hours. That's a lot, man. So, of course, Emmanuel has some goodie bag packages for you all, and I'll let him come on board and share that with you. Also, like I said, for those of you that took my advice, the smart ones, and made social media posts, please drop them in the chat box. I would like to see them. I would like to like, and I also want to connect with people that are here. So drop the link to your social media post or whatnot, and I can go there, like and follow or whatever. So please do that. Thank you very much. And Emmanuel, over to you.
All right. Thank you, Rashidat, for anchoring the meeting, the webinar. It was fun. I'm so excited. And I've learned a lot today, and I've really met new people. I'm glad that I'm here, and let's spice it up. Kind of add little fun to the entire process. There is this popular saying that work without play makes Jack. Is it a dull boy or a smart boy? I can't remember.
It's a dog boy.
No, he's not a dull boy. He's a smart boy. All right. So he's just a little brain teaser, and we'll be doing it for